Hey, it's Zell again, and in this episode of Fridays with Zell, I have a weird announcement to make. And you can probably guess from the title of this video, and that is I'm going to start a podcast. Now, why am I starting a podcast when I already have a video every Friday? So let me answer that question first. I thought of starting a podcast way before starting a video actually, and I wanted to do it because a podcast seems to be way less intimidating when compared to starting a video, right? But in my thoughts, I wanted to also create content, um, like teaching code through videos. So a podcast wouldn't be a very good medium for it. But over time, I realized that the type of videos that I put out do not necessarily mean that you need to um, watch me on the screen. So in like for the past I think 10 to 16 videos or so, it is all videos of me talking to you through that screen. And if you were in the video hearing me talk for about 10 or 15 minutes, no, sorry, about 5 to 10 minutes, generally speaking, that video it's quite boring, and you can't do anything else except have your YouTube channel or your YouTube app open. And that kind of content is very suitable for a podcast related content. And I only got to know this when one of my students in Learn JavaScript brought that up to me and asked me why I didn't start a podcast. Um, and I thought, why not? Because the video content fits very well to the podcast content. Why not I do both of them at the same time? So you can consume the video or you can consume it from a podcast if you'd like to. So that is the reason why I am starting a podcast. Now, what I'm sharing with you today is still very raw. I have no idea whether the podcast is going to be successful or not. Um, even I, I mean, I don't even have an idea whether the process to put the podcast into iTunes will work well right now. So I'm really, really testing things out. If this podcast works, you'll find a link to the first podcast in the description below, and we will continue from there. Uh, so, a few things. The podcast will be called Fridays with Zell. That will be the same name as the video. So that means the video that you're watching every week wouldn't really change that much. I will include a link to the podcast from the video's description, and I'll also include a link to the video from the podcast description. Now, what is going to change is that the video, sometimes I might create video content that require me to share my screen. Like for example, I have some tutorials about Git coming up and I need to show my screen. So in those cases, I will say in advance that, hey, this tutorial requires you to watch a video, and then I will link from the podcast to the video. But otherwise, I will create I will share the video as if it is a podcast. And that is what I have in mind for this week. Like I said, this episode is very raw. Things are all over the place. I don't have an idea whether this is going to work yet. But I want to let you know because this change is coming, and I'm sure over time, we the whole thing will get a lot more polished. So that's it from me today. I hope this new change is pleasant for you because you can now choose how you like to consume the content. And in the next video, we will start with another series. And this time, like I said, it will be about Git, a Git series for beginners. So that's it from me this week. I hope to see you again next week, and let's have a fun time together.